Hi everyone, welcome. FPL Matt Day here, and this is the live Game Week 30 deadline stream. Just me at the moment, but I will be joined live by Quinton from the FPL Amateurs of Odds. So he will join shortly, and we're going to go through all of the fixtures for tonight's games, some differentials, captain picks, and then any questions that come in from now until deadline, we will also go through. So if you've got any questions, please get them in to the comments, and I'll be here to help you with any dilemmas you've got for this week. And so will Quinton when he comes in and joins the stream. If you can please like the video, get your comments in, like I was mentioning before, and also subscribe to the channel if you're new here. So if this is the first time you're around here, please subscribe to the channel. But like I said, then just be sure to like the video as well. But we'll go straight into it this week with the fixtures. We're 44 minutes away until deadline, so do not miss the deadline. Here in Melbourne, the deadline's 8 p.m. So a nice early deadline over here. So yeah, be sure not to miss the deadline. With it being an early deadline, and the clocks have changed over the last few weeks. But we'll share screen to begin with. Like I mentioned before, it's just me for now, and Q will be joining us shortly. But we'll start off with this early game between Man United and Everton, and this is a really, really big game for FPL this week. There's obviously been injury news for Man United. A lot of us who do own Luke Shaw, we're now having to find replacements for him. He is out of this game, so he won't be playing in this fixture, which is a shame because a lot of us who had Shaw, we've been hanging on to him, and we were hanging on to him for this sort of run of games, this game in Forest next week. So, yeah, he's definitely confirmed out of this one. So we are going to have to look for replacements, and we'll hopefully have someone on the bench as well. There's also Marcus Rashford, who's a really strong captain option this week. We're all going to have our eyes on him. There's managers that still own Bruno Fernandes from double game week 29. So plenty of options from Man United. You've also got Malacia, who will come in and replace Luke Shaw. So he could be a really good sort of 1 week punt, maybe 2 weeks if Shaw is out longer. Before I go into Everton and a score prediction, I'll just bring up some of the comments. Thanks to everyone that's tuned in so far. We've got Mishach in the comments. He's asking about the best captain options between Haaland and Rashford. I'll go through some captain options once I've done the fixture review. We've also got Quinton from FPL Amateurs of Oz jumping on, and we're going to go through our captains, mate. So, yeah, we will we'll talk about our best options between the two captains then. So keep that question there. Keep them coming in. Also, this one that's coming, we'll talk through that shortly. So any questions we'll go through just towards the end of the stream up until deadline. This fixture review will probably take about 10 minutes, and then we'll go straight into differentials, captains, and questions. And welcome to the stream, yeah, Arsenal. Yeah, I'm hoping it's a good week as well. I look at my team, it looks quite balanced. For those that haven't seen my team selection, if you go onto my videos, I've got my team selection video on there so you can see it there. And I've brought Haaland back into my team. He'll be likely be my captain option. So yeah, I'm hoping to have a good week as well, mate. But best of luck to you. Let's go back into this Man United game. So we've spoke about our favourite Man United players. Everton's away form hasn't been great. They've been conceding a lot of goals. There isn't anyone from Everton I'd be considering right now. I think the Tarkowski ship sailed. There's just no one there for it. And I think Man United will win this game. I don't think it will be that comfortable. United did play in midweek. They've also got Europa League coming up this week too. So I think it will be quite tight. I think Man United will edge it, but it will be 2-0. Marcus Rashford, I think, will score. He's returned in 9 of his last 10 home games, which is, absolutely phenomenal. So I do think he will return. But I think Man United will edge it 2-1. So all about Man United assets. Rashford, Bruno Fernandes, if you own them, keep them. De Gea, if you've got him, play him. Otherwise, if you've just got 1 or 2 and you're looking to move Shaw out, you could bring Malacia in. But you can also bench Shaw for a week because he might be fit to play next week. So that's another option. Let's go on to Aston Villa versus Nottingham Forest, which you can see there on the screen. Let's zoom in a little bit more. This is a big game. for FPL managers because you've got Ollie Watkins. We've got a few people asking about Ollie Watkins in the comments. He's a big player for this game week. He's just returning for fun at the moment. A lot of people are considering captaining him. Really good option to bring into your teams this week. There's also Buendia from Aston Villa. He's looking really good in midfield. He's returned in his last 2 matches. You've got Moreno, really cheap defender. Tyrone Mings as well, the most informed defender in the game right now. So Aston Villa, I think you're covered. If you get a couple of those players in, even a triple up, you can't go past a triple up because they do play in game week 32. And then Nottingham Forest, there's no one on target right now. They're on a bad run of games. They've not won in about 8 matches, and Villa have hit some form. So I think Villa will win this. I think it'll be comfortable. I can see them winning this one 2-0 with Ollie Watkins getting some goals. Let's go to Brentford versus Newcastle. Comments have come in. Yaya Torres asked a question, so we will go through that soon. Sorry, Yaya Arsenal. I've just called you Yaya Torre. So we will, we'll go through that soon. And then Chevy has just come in and he said he's captain at Salah this week, which I actually think we're going to go through captain soon. But I actually think that's a really good pick because his record at home to Arsenal is very good. I know this is a different Arsenal team, but Salah still scores goals against them. And he got a nice rest in the week as well. He only come on for the last 20 minutes or so. So I don't mind that as something different this week. Let's go in there to Brentford versus Newcastle. This is a big week for FPL managers. And I know a lot of managers have got the likes of David Raya, Ben Mee, Trippier, Byrne, Pope in their teams, Isaac as well. For me, if you've got the 2 Newcastle defenders, I actually think you should play them both. I hope that Newcastle get another clean sheet. They've had plenty on the road this season, a lot of tight 1-0, 0-0 types of games. So I'd play them both. A lot of people are asking me, do I play one Brentford and play one Newcastle? I'd play both of the Newcastle defenders and back one team or the other because it might pay off. I think this could be a very tight game, a 0-0 or a 1-0 type of game. So I'll back the 1-0 Newcastle. Callum Wilson's on a bit of a hot streak with St. Maximum as well. So I'll back both of them to be involved in the goals. From a Brentford point of view, if you've got Tony and you've not decided to sell him, you're probably going to keep him for this one. Hopefully, he doesn't get a booking because then he misses game week 31. But then on the flip side, if he gets booked now and misses game week 31, it then means he's going to play in game week 32, which is a blank game week. So it could end up working out. Let's go into Fulham versus West Ham. This is another one. Not many of us are sort of focusing on Fulham assets right now. If you've still got Andreas Pereira, I'd probably consider playing him. This West Ham team is low on confidence. They shipped a lot of goals against Newcastle. If they don't win this, it could be Moyes' potential last game in charge for a second time because obviously he's been sacked by West Ham before, but he's definitely on the rocks there. So if you've got Pereira, I would play Andreas Pereira this week. But I would also play someone like Kurt Zouma if you do have him as a West Ham defender because he is a set piece threat. West Ham is still always a threat from those set pieces. I'd still play the likes of Bowen, Ben Rama. I still think there's going to be goals in this game. But yeah, from a Fulham perspective, Andreas Pereira, good option this week for Fulham. Let's go into Leicester versus Bournemouth. This is another big game for FPL managers because a lot of us invested into Leicester players in game week 29. Maddison was one of them. Harvey Barnes, who did return, he beat Maddison's score. So for me, you keep Maddison, you play him, you start him in this game. You start Harvey Barnes in this game. You back Leicester, to maybe show something different now. Brendan Rodgers isn't there. If you do have Bournemouth assets as well, Billing, you've got to play him. You've got to play your Bournemouth players in this. This has potential to be a bit of a goal fest, in my opinion. So, look, I'll back this game to be a 2-2 draw. I can see there being goals. And I'll go back to Fulham West Ham. I can see that one being potentially a 2-1 to Fulham. So I can see goals in these couple of games. Let's go into Spurs versus Brighton. And that leads quite well into a comment from Yaya Arsenal. And he's going to go with Kane as his captain this week. So Harry Kane did score in the reverse fixture at Brighton. Spurs won 1-0. Kane scored plenty of times, obviously in the Premier League, but he scored in this fixture plenty of times as well. So, Kane always finds a way to score in this game. Always finds a way to score for Spurs. So yeah, if you're captaining him, I think it is it's still a handy captain option because he's just so consistent, and we know how good he is. As for your Brighton players, you've still got to play Matoma. You have to play him, in my opinion. Like, I'm a Spurs fan, and I'll even say play Matoma. His form is too good. He's consistent. Brighton play good football. Like, Brighton will be the team on the ball in this game, playing all of the football, and I think they score a goal. But I think Spurs score as well. Which is why I'd suggest benching Estupinan. I think you can bench him, but play Harry Kane, play Matoma, play McAllister. I'd still play McAllister over March. I know a lot of people are talking about Spurs' weak point on the left-hand side and March cutting in from that, from that right onto his left foot. But I'd still play McAllister being a penalty taker. I still play Matoma because he's just so productive. And then I'd look to probably bench March. If you've got that benching headache, let me know in the comments. But yeah, tough to predict this score. I'm going to go with 1-1. I won't back my team to lose this week. But I don't think we'll win either. So I'll go with 1-1. Let's bring up some of the comments as well that have come in. We've got some good viewers that have come into the stream now. So if you are new here, please subscribe to the channel. Like this video if you haven't done tonight. So please just like the video. It only takes 5 seconds to like the video, and continue to get your comments in. It's great to see everyone interacting in the comments. Welcome to the stream, Football Ferreira. Great to have you in. Go and check his channel out as well if you haven't done. Lots of really good football chat in there. And he's predicting Liverpool to destroy Arsenal tomorrow. So we'll go through Liverpool Arsenal in a second. Welcome as well. This is Wrestling Film. Hope you're good, mate. Obviously, you're flying in FPL this season. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on captains this week, mate. I saw that you were looking at bringing in Moreno, so I think that's a good pick from Aston Villa. But let's go on to Wolves versus Chelsea. The return of Frank Lampard at Chelsea. He's just there as an interim manager. Probably give them a bit of a boost for this game, maybe sort of from an attacking perspective. But again, yeah, look, I'm going to have to go with maybe a 1-0 Chelsea, 1-1 type of game. If you've got Kepa, if you've got Chilwell, you play them. Other than that, I wouldn't be targeting any other players from Chelsea. You still play Havertz this week, but again, I wouldn't be desperate to bring these players in. And as for Wolves, there's not really any players that you target in their team right now. So that's Wolves Chelsea. I don't think we need to say too much on that game. Let's go to Southampton versus Man City. That is a really big game as well for FPL because Man City have got the return of Erling Haaland. So we're all hoping Erling Haaland starts this game. I think he does. He's been in all the training pictures. He's been all over sort of social media all week. I think he starts. City need the win. I think they'll want to get this game wrapped up, after about an hour. And I think he'll be involved. He'll get goals. He always seems to get goals in this team and get FPL points. So if you're looking at bringing Haaland back, I would do it. I think he's a really good captain option. Still like Jack Grealish as well as an option. I think he's brilliant. Gundogan as well. And then if you're going to pick a defender, I'd probably say John Stones. But yeah, it's hard to say. Ederson's always the one you pick for me for Man City because he's going to play every game. But yeah, if you want to bring Haaland back this week, I think you've got to do it. So that is Southampton City. I think City are going to win this game. I think it'll be 3-0 to Man City. I can see Haaland grabbing a couple of goals. Let's go to Leeds Palace. Before I do, I'll bring up some of the comments that have come in tonight. Chevy Thompson. I don't know if you mean me being humble, mate. That's a nice comment if it was, or I'm not sure if you're talking in the comments. Football Ferreira isn't hugely keen on Lampard back at Chelsea. This is Wrestling Film. He's bringing Moreno in and transferred out Shaw, starting him in Chilwell and having the dilemma of starting one of Castagna, White in Trippier. Well, we do questions normally at the end, but I'll take this one now just because we're going through some of the games. For me, if I was going to start Castagna, White or Trippier this week, it's probably going to have to be Kieran Trippier because of how consistent he is. And we've got a guest here. It's Quinton from the FPL Amateurs of Oz as well. He's just jumped into the stream, which is good. So we'll get him to quickly pick that as well. So Q, hope you're good, mate. Welcome to the stream. We'll ask how you are in a second, but we'll get you to pick between Spania, Ben White, and Trippier. I've gone with Trippier. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Trippier. I think the attacking upside against hard matchups, and their matchup, I don't think is quite hard this week. So I think there's a chance for clean sheet plus the potential of a nice attacking return, hopefully.
No, good stuff. So I hope that helps you, mate, with your choice. We've got 2 more games to preview, and then we'll go on to some captains and differentials. So let's go into Leeds versus Palace. This game, look, Palace obviously have got Hodgson back in, probably going to keep it a bit tighter at the back. Not been on a great run. But I think Leeds might nick the win in this. I'm going to go with a 1-0 Leeds win. And Jack Harrison, yeah, he's the man at the moment. So Jack Harrison's my pick. I'll go with 1-0 Leeds in this one. Q, hope you're good, mate. What are you thinking in this one?
I'm actually going to go a bit of an interesting result. I'm going to say 2-2 in this game. And I'm going to say Eze for people that are looking at a cash out option in the midfield that has all right fixtures, because Palace do have good fixtures. It's just a matter of who to get. But I think Eze got to return their last game, so I think he's definitely a player worth having, and I could see him going well this game. So I'm going to say 2-2 in this game, and Eze is going to be the pick.
Yeah, no, it's a big call, and I think these are the games and these sort of game weeks where a lot of us are looking for an extra midfielder or an extra defender. Obviously, with the Luke Shaw injury, these are the game weeks where you got to try and find those differentials. There's only 8 games to go, so there's not a huge risk bringing in differentials like Eze. So, yeah, I like that. That's a really good call. We've had plenty of questions that have come in, so we are going to go through those questions shortly. I'll just quickly preview Liverpool, Arsenal, and then we'll go through all the questions that have come in. So keep them coming in. As for this game, yeah, this is a really interesting game. Liverpool at Anfield is a different beast. There was some rest time for Van Dijk. There was some rest time for Salah, Robertson, and Trent in the week. And I think they were doing that with in the back of their mind of wanting to come out and get a result in this game. So Liverpool's record against Arsenal, unbeaten in their last 9 at Anfield against Arsenal. I actually think Liverpool are going to get a result in this. I'm going to back probably a 2-2, I think, in this. And as for an FPL point of view, if you've still got Salah, I think you keep him. I think you play him in this. And even if you've got, maybe if you've got one of their defensive assets, maybe you do bench him. But Salah, I'd still play him if you've got him. If you've still got Darwin Núñez, I think you play him. But yeah, I think there'll be a few goals. Arsenal assets, play the attackers, bench the defenders, in my opinion, for this. But Q, what are you thinking on this one?
Yeah, I think there's going to be goals in this game. I say 2-2 as well with you. I think definitely start your attacking assets, the likes of Salah. Maybe not. I guess you could start Núñez, but there's a bit of sort of iffy about that just because of the return of Jota. You've got Firmino. You've got, I think Diaz should be. I'm pretty sure Diaz will be on the bench this week. So there's a little bit of 50-50 chance whether Núñez will start. But yeah, definitely start Salah. Start your Odegaards. But yeah, defensive assets, I've benched Zinchenko this week just because I think there'll be goals. So I think Salah's an all right pick. I think Arsenal will keep it a little bit tight. It wouldn't surprise me if it does end up 1-1 or something like that. But yeah, I think this is a game you just target your attacking assets. And yeah, I think Salah and Odegaard are my 2 picks. I like Odegaard this week. I think that he can definitely provide an assist for a goal.
Yeah, no, I like that. And I agree. I think with Jota coming back for Liverpool over this last few weeks, he loves his fixture. And this fixture always produces crazy games, crazy scores. We saw the 3-2 earlier on in the season. We've seen 4-4 in this game years ago. We've seen 4-0. We've seen some insane scores. So I think there's going to be a lot of goals in this one. So very good analysis there from Q for this massive game. But that is the fixture review. So we'll stop the share screen. We'll quickly go through our favourite captains and just a couple of differentials. We'll keep it quick because I've had plenty of questions come in and we're 25 minutes away from deadline. So let's quickly go through. Let's do differentials first, Q, and then captains. So a couple of my differentials, Jack Harrison, who I spoke about before, 2.8% owned. He's on really good form. Everything Leeds doing their attack, he's involved. He's got Palace at home. So he's one of my favourite differentials this week. Do you want to name one of yours, Q, and then I'll go through the other couple of mine?
I like Tyrell Malacia from United this week. With Shaw not playing, I'm pretty confident he's going to get that spot, and he looked so good in attack last week. So I think there's a chance that he could come in, not very highly owned, not very expensive either, and I could see him definitely, getting an attacking opportunity and possibly getting an assist. So I think he's, I don't rate Everton's attack. I think that they're quite sort of toothless, inconsistent. So
yeah,
I could see it being 0 or I could see it being 3-0 to United. I just don't see Everton scoring. So you're going to get like a clean sheet plus, opportunity for more.
No, I like that Malacia pick. I think it's good. The one thing I said earlier when I did the United game on the preview was if Luke Shaw, he's obviously out of this game, but if it's just a precaution and you do own Shaw, I think you can afford to keep him, bench him, and hope that maybe he's fit for the Forest game next week.
Yeah.
Potentially. So, yeah, we'll see that. But if you're going sideways, I don't think Malacia is the worst move. Like, he's going to start. So, yeah, I think that's a really good pick. I'll go to my second differential. It was Buendia at home to Nottingham Forest. He's returned in his last 2 games. Villa are on form. Forest have been really poor. I think it's like 8 games now without a win. So I'm really liking him as a second differential. Only 1% owned as well. So if he scores, you're going to be absolutely flying. Then I'll go through my third differential. He's starting to make a few waves now. 7.8% owned. Tyrone Mings. He's in the form of his life. Most informed defender in FPL right now. 8 bonus points over the last I think it's 6 games. I don't know if this Mings train is going to continue this week. He's got Forest at home, but that's my differentials. Q, have you got any other differentials you want to quickly add before we go into captains?
I'm going to say James Maddison. He is 11% owned, but a lot of people were a little bit turned off with the performance last week, but they've got a good fixture this week, and I could see him getting a decent return. And, I was close to getting him out this week, but just with the upside, I just couldn't. So I think he's got some great upside. And then also, D10's going to love me for this, but St. Max, he was just incredible.
Big differential.
So,
yeah,
he's so good every week, but it's almost like he turns up against United. He just looks like the best player on the park every time he plays us. But, he's strung 2 games together now that he's looked really good. So I definitely think he's a nice little cash out option or even just a sideways move from someone.
Yeah, he's a really good pick. I considered him as differential this week, and then I thought, you know what, I might wait until the game week sort of 32, 33 time when he plays. He's got the likes of Southampton and Everton then. But yeah, if you can get on St. Maximin now, I think he's a really good pick. He's returned in his last couple of games, so I like that. We'll go through all the questions. We've got plenty of questions that are coming in. The comments keep coming in. So keep all the questions coming in. We're going to go through that in a couple of minutes. We're about to do our captain section. If you are new here, please subscribe to the channel. Also, you can follow Quinton, tonight's guest, at FPL Amateurs of Oz on Twitter. He's also on Instagram. You can find his website as well. So go and check Quinton out as well if you haven't done. And just take 5 seconds of your time and just like this video as well. All the support is really appreciated. But let's go into captains before we take all of the questions that have come in tonight. So we will go through every single one. Let's go through our captain thoughts. We'll do 3 to 1. We'll keep it quick because we're 21 minutes till deadline and we want to get all these questions in. So let's do our number 3. Mine's going to be Watkins as the third pick. Q, who's your third pick?
Yeah, mate. Good minds think alike. Watkins is my third pick as well.
Watkins as well. He's obviously been on fire. Number 2, we'll get your second one, Q.
I'm going to say Haaland.
Haaland. So he's gone Haaland number 2. Mine's Rashford. So I've gone Rashford 2 over Haaland, and it's not because I don't think Rashford's going to do well. I think he will. I think I was saying earlier he's returned in 9 out of his last 10 home games. Big scores, big points, clean sheet points, midfielder points, and I think he will score in this. He might even get a couple of goals. But number 1 for me is Haaland, and the reason Haaland's number 1 is because I think he starts. Southampton are shipping in so many goals. I can just see him doing one of those 1 hour, hat trick type of performances. And Yeah, I know he's away from home and he's not as good in that, but yeah, I think he's going to be wanting to hit the 30 goal mark in the Premier League today. He's on 28. I think he'll get to number 30 and then they'll sub him off. Yeah, I got a feeling we're going to see a big Haaland score, and then a nice early sub ready for Bayern Munich. But yeah, I think as well, because I've transferred Haaland in, I want to captain him. Yeah, but Rashford's a very close one. It was hard. Like before Haaland was declared fit, I was probably on thinking Rashford was the one, but obviously your number one is Rashford instead, Q.
Yeah, it is a tough decision because, like we spoke about on numerous streams, is I've missed out on so many Haaland hat tricks, and he could very well score a hat trick this week. But I'm just backing United. I thought there was maybe like a 30-minute period where they just looked so good last week, and Rashford just was a part of everything. But I think this could be a game where they need to come out and make it not a statement, but just sort of come out and do something. And is Casemiro back this game? Because I'm pretty sure I saw something.
Possibly. I think the one thing I was saying about United was you did play in the week, and the turnaround time is quite short. And I think United will win this 2-0 and they'll get over the line. But I think this is a typical game where United will grind out the result. But I think Rashford scores. So if I was a Man United fan, I would captain Rashford. But with neutral eyes, I can. I've got it on the Norwegian alien. So, and like you were saying, Q,
I think
it's the hat trick
point I will say.
On.
Yeah, well, the one thing that's thrown a little bit of doubt into it is the first game. Every time on a Saturday, the first game is just there's a curse, and I think we did a watch along last year, and I did his Salah captain against Everton in the early game, and he got 0 and had like 600 shots, and Pickford, looked like peak Van der Sar and was just saving everything. But yeah, I think Casemiro, I'm pretty confident he's back this week. So if he's playing, I think Eriksen might be on the bench possibly. I'm not sure whether he'll get any game time, but I could see definitely a bit more creativity, which is good for Rashi.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, but that's our captain thoughts. So let's go through all these questions. There's been plenty that have come in. So the first one of the night come in. Best captain option between Haaland and Rashford. So mine's Haaland. Q's is Rashford. But very close. I think either or. I don't think you can go wrong with either. I think Haaland will score at least 2 goals, and I think Rashford will get at least a goal and an assist. He might well end up getting more points than Haaland, to be honest. Rashford, I can picture him scoring a couple of goals against Everton now, but yeah, because I bring Haaland, I want to captain him. I want to try and get on a Haaland hat trick when no one else has captained him as much. So that's what I'm thinking. But QG's on that as well.
I think it's very close. I think it's very close because I think with Haaland being fit, I could see it. There's not going to be one captain that's really going to hurt you too much. I think it's going to be, if they score around the same, I think it's going to be much of a muchness, pretty much.
No, I agree. Matoma or Watkins? Matoma. I think I've saying it on Twitter in the week. His production of returns is ridiculous. He's returned in like nearly every game now over the last 2 or 3 months. But if I'm picking, I'm backing Watkins at home to Forest this week. I think Forest, as bad as Spurs have been defensively, and I think Forest have been worse. So yeah, Watkins for me. What are you thinking, Q?
Yeah, I'm thinking Watkins as well. I think Matoma, he's just always been in the right place at the right time, getting returns. But I think Watkins, it's almost like Villa just don't have anything else other than Watkins, and I just could see him having a better week this week. I think Spurs might try to tighten things up a little bit. So, yeah, Watkins more upside for me.
I think so as well. Arsenal asked, I got both of Tony and Havertz, who to sell for Haaland. Oh, that's tough. You know what? I'd probably sell Havertz over the two. I know a lot of people I've sold Tony because I didn't have Havertz, but I'd sell Havertz because he doesn't play in game week 32. And if Tony does avoid those bookings, he does play in game week 32. Havertz has got the better fixture this week, but I'd probably edge towards Havertz because of that. And Brentford have got a good fixture next week. So, I'll just do that and just pray that Tony doesn't get booked in the next 2 game weeks. What do you reckon, Q?
Yeah, no, I definitely think Havertz. I think Tony's just got too much upside. He does obviously have the yellow card cloud hanging over him, but I just think with Chelsea, just nothing really excites me about their attack at the moment. I just think
Nah.
when you're looking at Brentford, it's everyone's going towards Tony. Everything's happening for Tony. So yeah, he's my pick.
No, I agree. I think we were talking about the Lampard return earlier in the comments, and I think now he's back. It's probably the week for Mason Mount to return to FPL because Lampard loves Mason Mount. Chevy did say he'd transfer in Jesus, Kane, or Watkins. So some good options there. Just going to go put some of the comments up as well that come up. Let's go through some more questions that come in. I'm just quickly going through them now. We're 14 minutes till deadline, so yeah, make sure you've got your transfers and captains in. Start March or Martinelli? That is an interesting one. It's very split down the middle for me. Like I think it's split down the middle. Martinelli for me has been more of a goal threat over the last few weeks. He's been quite clinical. But March is quite popular this week. He's been so frustrating. It's one of those. I can't bench in March because I got Matoma, but I just know this will probably be the week. If Brighton score, it's going to be March, not Matoma. It's just the way it works, right? But it's tough. I'd probably start Martinelli.
Yeah, that's a very tough one. I'm going to go March just because I think that with Jesus back, you've got Trossard, you got Saka. Saka's not going to get rested this week, seeing as he was on the bench last week. So there could be a scenario where Martinelli's on the bench this week. And there could be an early sub as well if things aren't going to plan or if things are going to plan. Whereas March, you can almost guarantee 80 plus minutes from him, and you're not sure what Spurs are going to do. They could completely shit the bed, or I think there's goals in that game. I don't think there's any clean sheets in either games. I think they could be quite high scoring in both games. So I'm probably going to go March.
Yeah,
for the reason
I agree with the
minutes.
goals, and with Spurs, there's a bit of unrest in the fan base with the ownership and some of the stuff that's been going on at the club and all the sack managers and everything. So they'll feel that in the ground, and I think, yeah, I'm scared of benching March because if he scores a goal or is involved in a couple of goals, yeah, it's going to be a headache. But I'm just hoping Mitoma is the one that is kind of on the end of things. So, and you can't play everyone. Like you can't play everyone, and yeah, and like I was saying earlier, the reason I'm not playing SG Panan is because I think there'll be goals. Let's go into this question. Shall I sell Maddison for Grealish? Not this week.
No, not this week. Definitely, I think heading in towards the double, definitely an option. But yeah, probably not this week.
Yeah, definitely for Game Week 34, you probably want Grealish in there, or look at getting Grealish in there. But you don't sell Maddison with Bournemouth home. Plays in Game Week 32 as well. I know they play City next week, but Q actually had Maddison last season at Man City, and he got like 16 points for you, didn't he? It was like 6-3
and Liverpool as
City.
well, I think. Yeah, and I think I think they lost to Liverpool, but he still got a goal and an assist, I think, in that game as well.
Yeah, he's always capable. So no, I wouldn't do that. Mitoma or Watkins, we did have that one earlier. So we both went with Watkins. The wrestling film was just saying captain choice for me. I always just like the early kickoff, but I'm sticking with Rashford. Watkins is vice captain. Haaland is the most explosive potential, though. Yeah, I think that's how we both see it. Well, Q does. I slightly edged Haaland as captain, but if I was a Man United fan, if it was Spurs were on form and it was between Haaland and Kane in similar scenarios, I'd be backing Kane or Son. So and I know wrestling film is a United fan, so yeah, you've got to back your man.
I think also the
Rashford.
bonus potential with Rashford as well. We saw last week, as soon as he got the goal, he went straight to 3 bonus. It didn't matter whether he had 2 shots, 1 shot. He was straight to top of bonus.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is obviously non-FPL, but we're getting some comments about Haaland and Alvarez in the comments, like who's a better striker. So we got a good debate going on there. So yeah, let us know in the comments who you think is a better footballer between Alvarez and Haaland.
I think Alvarez more reminds me of Aguero, and Haaland is just a good striker. I think Alvarez probably has a bit more to his game.
Alvarez has got that like low center of gravity, like Aguero, and that silkiness, whereas Haaland's just an absolute destroyer in terms of that 6-yard box. Like anything that comes in the 6-yard box, he just scores. Which is why for FPL, Haaland's just so dangerous. Bench Botman or Mings. This is interesting, but look, I'm assuming he might have Trippier. But even if he doesn't, I'd probably just say bench Botman, hope Brentford score, and I think Mings is probably the best. Like his form, we spoke about him earlier. He's one of the differentials for this week, so I think you got to bench Botman over Mings. What do you reckon, Q?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'd start Mings against Nottingham Forest. Like Brennan Johnson's has looked really good, but I feel like Nottingham Forest are the team at home that you kind of want to back at home, but away not so much. So yeah, I'd probably back a clean sheet for Mings instead of Botman.
Yeah, they're getting beaten quite convincingly away. We had a comment. It was saying he was loving the kit. I'm assuming it's Q's kit. So Q getting some love. I have warned him not to wear that shirt on the deadline stream. Nah, it's fine. United are playing early.
I would wear a Jets shirt, but after the result tonight, I'd probably not be wearing it for a couple of weeks.
Newcastle Jets. Who do they play tonight?
They played Brisbane. They lost 3-0, so it's good. It's what we do every season. We get close to finals, and we just say, "Nah, don't want to play finals," and then start losing. So
the Jets. We got this from Arsenal. He's betting on Southampton. We'll give City a rough fixture. Bazunu going to be Van der Sar today. You know what? Like Southampton have got a good record against City down the years at home. So it could well happen. 3:00 kickoff in England, I think, or is it the late kickoff over there? Might be the late kickoff over there. I think it's a late kickoff in England.
Yeah, it'd be the late kickoff because it's the pretty much nearly the last fixture of the night for us.
Yeah, okay, so that would be a big game. So Chevy thinks he's going. He thinks City might lose 3-0. So that's huge, huge. If Southampton were to do that, that would be that would be massive.
It has been a notorious sticky fixture for Man City. I think in the Cup game just recently they lost 2-0. I think last season it was a 1-1 draw, and I think a lot of people might have been a KDB captain last season, and it was a 1-1 draw, and it was just an absolute non-event for FPL. But the last fixture they played away at a Southampton's ground was a 4-1 win to City. So it's a bit all over the place, but it could be a tight fixture. And I love Bazunu, so I'd love to see Bazunu just go ham. 12 saves, save points galore.
I need Haaland to score 6. Erland has said, who to bench, Isaac or March? I'd bench March. Or was Isaac going to start? Yeah, he'd start.
I'm going to say March because Wilson was looking pretty good. So there's a chance that Isaac could start, but he might only get like 50 odd minutes.
It's tough. I'd probably bench March because I think Isaac might play him and Wilson. It is tough. I'd always play Isaac. I just think he's a player you play.
If it was at home, I'd probably back Isaac, but because it's away at Brentford, and Brentford are notoriously better at home defensively than they have been away.
It's not an easy one. It's not an easy pick. So Q thinks March. You know what? I'll back you. Let's say March because I think, you're definitely going to get the start then. So maybe we'll say March. It only just. And then you just got to hope that Wilson gets the start after his form. Some of the other comments that come in. PSB, welcome to the stream, mate. Who would you bench? Mitoma, Havertz, or Tony?
Havertz.
If I'm going to bench one, we'll just bring that back up. You know what? I would bench from those three. I would bench Mitoma, even though I said he's so consistent. Havertz. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to bench Havertz. I'll bench Havertz. That's a tough question. So you think Havertz, Q?
Yeah, I think bench Havertz. It'd be between Havertz and Tony with the benching, but I'm
going to say bench Tony, actually. I'm going to change it because I transferred Tony out of my team. Not because I don't think, obviously, he's a great FPL player, but I'll do it with the fact that Newcastle was solid at the back. There's been a few home games every now and then where Tony has got a 1 or a 2-pointer. And
Well,
I
even
just
last
think,
week, he wasn't that involved either in attack. There just wasn't a
nah,
lot.
he wasn't. And I think Mitoma, you play him because I think the Spurs game there we goals. Havertz, okay, we were saying Chelsea won't create, or they don't score huge amounts of goals, but they created a lot against Liverpool, and Havertz did score, I think, a disallowed goal, and he is on pens. He's been getting on the end of things. I just think Wolves is the weakest team out that these players. I think out of the Mitoma playing Spurs, Tony playing Newcastle, Havertz playing Wolves. I think Wolves is the weaker team, so I'd probably play Mitoma, play Havertz, and bench Tony. That's what I'd do. And then, hopefully again, he doesn't get booked. And then next week you'd start Tony because he's got a good fixture next week. And PSB is also bringing Pedro Porro.
I just saw someone put in the group chat that apparently Rashford's playing up top. So,
okay. Doesn't he always play as a striker?
No, he usually plays left, and Weghorst plays up top. So,
okay,
Weghorst might be on the bench.
Okay, that probably sounds about right. Either way, though, I think look, Rashford. It's just one of those games. I want to see that if Rashford centre forward like that. You can just see the ball coming through to him, and he grabs a hat trick. But yeah, look, I'm sticking with Haaland captain. But I still think Rashford's going to do well this week.
And also an update on Shaw's injury. Apparently, Ten Hag said we're not too negative at the moment, but we can't say when he will return. So that sounds to me maybe a 2-week, possibly. Nothing too serious, but I could see him maybe missing a couple of weeks by the sounds of that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, yeah, sure. I think if you've got the room in your team, you've got a replacement. I'd probably just bench him for now with that in mind because you never know. He might come back against Forest next week. If he doesn't, we'll have more intel then, and then you can look to just move him on because he does blank in game week 32. We've got 3 minutes till deadline, so let's quickly get through some of these questions. Let's just do these ones quick fire. Bruno and Tony out for Grealish and Haaland.
Tony out for Haaland, Bruno no.
Yeah, I'd say that as well. If you can do that, do that. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. We've got, let's see the other questions. Quick one from Martin Watchhorn. Billing versus Leicester. He scored earlier this season, or start Martinelli. Well, he's already got Saka. I'd say Billing against Leicester. Leicester's defense has been horrible lately. Thanks for the question. Oh, that's good. That's all the questions. I had a lot of comments that have come in. So, 2 minutes till deadline. All right. So let's quickly go through our transfers. So mine's Haaland in, Tony is out, and Haaland is my captain. Am I considering? We just had a quick question come in. Go on. Let's take this question before we do that. Should I play McAllister over Mitoma? What do you reckon? McAllister is a penalty taker, but I'm still backing Mitoma over McAllister.
Yeah, Mitoma. I think McAllister's shown the downside of him where he can be in and out of games and not sort of like Mitoma and March who are very involved. So, yeah, Mitoma for me.
Okay. My team, I've got Kepa in goal, Trippier, Ben Mee, Harry Souttar. Please score a goal this week. Harry Souttar, Rashford, Maddison, Mitoma, Saka. Watkins, Haaland, and Kane are my front three. And I'm backing Haaland for the captain. I still think Rashford's going to do well. Either one for me is good this week. Yeah. Look, there was a point in time where Rashford was my captain pick for this week. But because he's just owned by so many more people, I've just thought, I'm just gonna go Haaland. So some early team news: Wan-Bissaka, Martinez, Maguire, and Malacia confirmed. So yeah, interesting back four there for Man United.
Yes, Malacia, I'm glad because I did bring him in.
Yeah, it's a good move. We are now 7:59. We're now 20 seconds till deadline. Do I make a quick change to Rashford? Yes or no, Q?
Yep.
Nah, I'm not doing
it, mate.
that.
Do it.
Nah. I think Rashford's going to do well. I really think Rashford's going to. Now he's playing in that striker position. We've just had the news that he's going to be playing as a striker today. No Weghorst. He's going to be on the bench. Rashford could come out and get a double in this or a hat trick even like that. Everton's form on the road poor. Of course you do. Yeah. Look, I really want a Sean Dyche special. I want a 1-1. I want United score it can be a late equaliser from Weghorst. He can come off the bench. He can score the equaliser. No points for Rashford, even though he's in my team.
Rashford assist.
Yeah, when you don't captain him, you just have to hope that he doesn't score. But yeah, he's just so good at home. Rashford's so good at home. But deadline's gone now. Deadline's done, by the way. It's 8 p.m. here in Melbourne, where I am. Q's. He's in a different state in Australia, but it's 8 o'clock where he is. So, yeah, we are on deadline. So thanks everyone that's got all their questions in. We'll probably just stay on for a few more minutes and just chat football
Also,
in general.
tune in tonight. Myself and D10 Football will be doing a live watch along for the Manchester United game. So yeah, you can tune in and see the highs and lows of me having triple Man United. And I'm pretty sure D10's jumping on the Rashford captaincy as well. So 2 Rashford captains live
tune
reactions.
into that. I've not been feeling too well, so I just wanted to do this stream, answer everyone's questions, and then I'll probably grab dinner and then just rest. And I'll put the game on. Of course, I'll have the game on. Actually, what I'll do is I'll have YouTube on and I'll be listening to Dan and Q on the watch along. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing. Normally, I'd love to be doing the watch along, but yeah, I'm just going to rest up after this. Let's bring up some of the comments that come in, Q, during the stream that were non-FPL related. We'll chat some football for the next 5 minutes. Thanks, Martin, for coming into the stream. We really appreciate it. Let's bring up some of the other comments that come in, Q, because we had a few. Yeah, your Arsenal was saying Arsenal fan and he's captaining Kane against Brighton. What do you think on
that? Yeah, actually, when all this stuff, I didn't have Haaland in my side before this week, so I actually did put the captaincy on Kane as a placeholder because I thought definitely is an option this week. But yeah, when I worked out that Haaland was fit, he became an option. But then obviously Rashford just couldn't really get it off Rashford at the end.
Yeah.
But I like Kane captain. Definitely not. I feel like there's, as much as there is 2 obvious options this week, I still think there's more than 2 options this week, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Martin Watchon said, hopes I feel better. So thanks, mate. And he thinks Kane hat-trick to cheer me up. So fingers crossed. We did have another one that came from Michael just now. Unfortunately, deadline's passed, mate. So I'm hoping that you started Maddison, because we both would have said Maddison over Tony. You would have said the same, I'm sure, Q, for Michael to start.
Yeah, no, I think Maddison, definitely for me. I just think that there was an opportunity where I was going to forgo Haaland this week and go Maddison to Grealish, but just the thought of Maddison, I just think that he's going to go good this week.
No, I agree. I think we did answer this one. Yeah, we did.
And I actually think Maddison might be on pens because there's no...
Vardy's not been starting, has he?
There's no Tielemans, and Vardy hasn't been starting. So Tielemans, Maddison's third choice for penalties, and Vardy hasn't been starting, and Tielemans isn't playing. So there's every chance that if they get a pen, Maddison could be on pens.
Yeah, no, I think if you've got Maddison, I'm hoping that all Maddison owners started him. We're just going to bring up some of the random comments that come up. We had Alvarez is up there with Mbappe. I think there was a bit of banter going along in the comments during the stream.
That's a little bit premature, but I'd like where you're going with it.
FPL Roo, welcome to the stream, mate. I hope Barley is good.
Sure, he's got a fish bowl right in front of him right now.
Yeah, fellow Spurs fan. So go check his channel out, FPL Roo. Have a good time in Bali, mate. And he did start Maddison, so that's good. We would have said to do that. So yeah, we'll bring up some more of the comments that have come in earlier on in the stream. Wing was gauging for a differential pick in the Brighton dilemma to stick to McAllister because he's chasing rank. Matoma is most owned, and dummy then who own him. Yeah, I can see look, it's like the March Matoma one. You can kind of Matoma's got the form, but if you're chasing points, you start March, and it's the same with McAllister. And when he's on pen,
I'll be deaf right in Matoma, so it's all good, mate.
Yeah, and when you got a player like McAllister who's on pens, there's always a chance, especially with VAR and all that stuff going on. So yeah, Everton are without Decore as well. It's a good point. So he's obviously banned. So that could help United's cause. But seeing Maguire in the team queue, it does always make me feel like United. I feel like they're on the ropes whenever Maguire starts. Doesn't matter who it's against. There's just something about it.
He's like I would say Vegemite, good in small doses, like phenomenal. But if you have to have it every day, probably not a fan. But he does. The way they've been playing him is sporadically just putting him on every now and again, and he's been good. He hasn't had too many games to get bad habits. He doesn't have enough time to have bad habits, so I don't mind it. But yeah, it's could go either way. Score an own goal or keep a clean sheet. So,
Yeah, that's
two
the thing.
spang.
That's the thing. It's now it'll be interesting to see how that game goes with Maguire in there. We had a couple more comments that have come in, so I will bring them up. I think what we'll do, I want to just see. We did have a good debate that was going on between Alvarez and Haaland, and we have a lot of people that were talking about who is the better player between Haaland and Alvarez. I think if you Alvarez is I think he's like you said, Q. He's like an Aguero, but if I'm picking a striker for my club, it's Haaland just because anything you put into that 6 yard box, he just eats up, literally like eats it for dinner.
Haaland reminds me of when you get a pack to start a FIFA Ultimate Team. You want a Haaland pack because you can build around Haaland, whereas Alvarez is a nice Robin or a nice player to go with Haaland. But I really like Alvarez. I think I scouted him on YouTube when they signed him last season, and I was like, "Oh, this guy's incredible." But then they signed Haaland. I'm like, he's never going to play. But
Yeah, Alvarez just still looks brilliant, doesn't he? We've had some more comments. I don't know if Oddspike sent this during the stream because it's only come up at 8:04. So because deadline's passed, it's definitely passed, isn't it? Q deadline's gone.
yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
deadline's gone. It's tough. Obviously, you're a Brighton fan, mate. So like, I would have said from a Brighton perspective, you probably just go for it and start SG Penan. But if I'm picking for these fixtures this week, I'm probably saying probably Botman, but I don't think there's much in it. Like I think I'd probably say Botman edges it, but like as you're a Brighton fan, if I was looking at it and it was a Spurs player versus Botman, I'd probably just play the Spurs player just for the fun. But I'd probably say Botman, but I don't think there's much in that.
I like it Purvis just because he sits so
He is
high in
attacking.
attack. I thought they changed
true.
the formation around to play him as like a left winger because he was literally just occupying just on the edge of the box on the left there. And I'm thinking he could definitely get a goal there. And I think against Australia, he was doing the same thing. He was almost playing as a second striker. So
Yeah,
I think there's more upside for attacking, but obviously you could see Newcastle keeping a clean sheet as well. So
yeah, it's a tough one. There's some split decisions this week. There was a question for you, Q. What number do you have on the kit? I hope it's Rashford because of the Rashford captain.
I couldn't get a Rashford jersey in time in Australia, so I just got a plain one. But I do have another shirt that has Sancho on it. So as soon as Sancho signed with United, I went out and bought that green kit with Sancho on the back.
Nice. Michael did us thoughts on double Brighton for next week onwards. I reckon like I've got a triple Brighton anyway, but I think from 33 onwards you have to have triple Brighton. Have to, because 33 they got the Forest game, 34 they got the double game week, and I think they're going to very highly likely get double game week in 37 because they're obviously in the FA Cup semi. So yeah, I think you can do it from next week, but just remember they blank in 32. So if you can go for the double, from 33 onwards, I'd say 33 onwards. Yeah, and it has to be. It would be March, Mitoma, and SG Panan, or still SG Panan and Mitoma. What do you reckon, Q?
No, I'm gonna say
he's changed his mind.
I'm gonna say Fergalicious Ferguson.
The Ferg,
because a lot of people are gonna try and move towards
Harry
another
Kane's
premium players in the mid, or just go the Harry Kane and Haaland up top. And I think the perfect third Brighton asset is gonna be Fergalicious Ferguson because he's worth barely anything. He is incredible. He's the Harry Kane regen, as I've said
Harry
to
Kane's
Matt
son.
on multiple occasions this year. I think he's going to be your best downgrade option up top, so you can, either keep that double Kane and Haaland, or go to maybe a Salah and a Bruno or some more premium assets in the middle of the park. So yeah, I think I'd go definitely a Matoma or a March, and then maybe a Purvis or a Steele, and then I'd go Ferguson up top.
Yeah, no, true. I just think the Matoma March, SG Panan triple is so good because SG Panan, he's so good on that left-hand side, attacks, and then in midfield, Matoma, you have to have him. And then March, just like, he still gets an assist or a goal. But yeah, I like the Ferguson pick as well. Well, we've got here Maguire starts because of the size of the Everton players. So yeah, that's true. That's true.
Just a big box head floating around the box, heading out balls.
Yeah. You're asking us. I'd like to see if you put a differential or risk players for every game week. Well, I'll tell you what, I put Harry Sutar in last week, so you can't get any more differential than that.
Mate, Harry Suter's going to return this week, mate. He almost scored last week. He's doing it.
No, he missed a sitter from about 2 yards. So, yeah, that
he might be on pens.
Yeah, imagine that. You know what? Like I tend to do it. Like I obviously try to play to win mini leagues against mates more so than anything else. I like to throw in random differential picks. I've done quite a few this season. Some have paid off, some haven't. Sutar's yet to pay off, but I'm hoping this week could be the week. I did Solanke early on in the season before anyone had him. Then he went on a good run, so they do pay off. Q, you like to do a few differentials? Is there any that spring to mind for you this year?
Well, I think I got Eze. I got on Eze pretty early this season and got a couple of double-digit hauls from him. Last season I did the same thing with Eze. Not Eze, it was Gallagher last season. I got on him early as well. I think you need a core 5, maybe 5, 6 that are like EO players, but I really think you can go maybe one mega differential, a couple of differentials, and then 50-50 differential. But I definitely think if you're wanting to chase rank, you're not too worried about taking a few risks. I think you need at least 3 differentials most weeks.
Yeah, I think that's part of the fun of the game is picking a differential, especially when it pays off. Wings sticking with the triple Brighton, Man U, and even Chelsea. And he's free hitting in 32. I actually had a couple of questions about the free hit that's come in. I think you've got to have Brighton from 33 onwards. I think you can get away with 9 or 10 players in game week 32 and save your free hit, which I'll talk about in a minute when I like the free hit. Ozspike is going to the UK for Brighton versus Man United semi-final. That'll be a cracker. Confident, Q, or Brighton are good?
I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I could see it being like a 2-2, go to extra time, and someone winning it in extra time. Like that's the type of game I think I could see happening. And I'm going to back us to go through the final, but it just depends because Brighton could throw everything at this tie because if they win the FA Cup, they go straight into Europe, don't they?
Yeah, I know. I think probably I don't know if is it potentially their first ever FA Cup win as well. I'd assume so. So, it'd be massive, and they'd go straight into the Europa. Brighton play good football. Like Brighton, for me, outside the top 2 this season, probably play the best football in the league. So that's going to be a big game. Yeah, that's going to be huge, and it's big for FPL as well. Got some questions here on the free hit. Kane down to Fergie, and then Salah in for someone in game week 33 with a free hit in 32. A lot of people are talking about this free hit in 32, Q, and you know what? Like, I'm looking at it thinking if you can get a core 9 players in or 10 players, why would you then not free hit in game week 34? Because in game week 34, Man City play twice, Newcastle play twice, Man United play twice, Brighton play twice, West Ham, I think, and Fulham play twice. So you can put the best Man City players in your team through a free hit for that one game week. And like the same as Man United and the same as Newcastle. And you don't have to be stuck with them for the rest of the season. So for me, I think game week 34 is the best free hit from what's left. Because you can put any 3 City triple players in there you like. Yeah, and you can get a full sort of starting team of double game weekers. I'm not liking the free hit in 32Q unless your team has less than 7 players. But yeah, what are you thinking for those that have the free hit left?
I think if you can get the 9 players in 32, I think don't use the free hit. And yeah, I like that 34 free hit because you can kind of really go at sort of getting a decent starting side. So you might only need one playing bench player, and then you can literally just try getting as many city assets as you can. So I actually like that idea better.
Yeah, and we've got a question that said, shed some light on how we navigate using a free hit if you don't have a free hit. But if I got 9 players balancing, surely I have no choice but to use it myself. So yeah, I think you can navigate 32 without a hit. If you've got 9 players, you've already navigated it because you only need. I remember in the last blank game week, I only had 9 men, and I had a good game week. I think I got a green arrow. I didn't miss out on too much. At the end of the day, it's a blank game week where a lot of the stronger sides aren't playing because they're in the FA Cup. Brighton, Man United, Man City. So yeah, I think 9 players is fine. Navigate it with 9 players. You can maybe take 1 -4 to get yourself to 9 players if you need to. But that's what I'd do, and I'd save that free hit for a strong double game week. That's what I thought. Oh, sorry, you just said he's got 9 players blanking. All right, that's different. Then you've got to use a free hit. Sorry. What do you reckon, Q? I reckon if you've got 9 players blanking, that's different. You definitely use a free hit.
Yeah. Definitely, I think you use the free hit then if that's the case.
Yeah, then use it. But if you don't have the free hit and you've got 9 players blanking, and that's game week 32, then I'm hoping game week 30 you made a transfer for someone that plays in 32. Then next week you can do a -4, 2 players for 32. That gives you 4. That should give you 5 in total, and then you could do another -4. You get 2 players in the park, then you'd have 7 in total for game week 32. So yeah, it's good luck. But yeah, if you've got 9 out and you've got the free hit, I think you've got to use it. And we had confirmation from Ozspike that Brighton were in the 1983 final and they lost the replay to Man United back when they did the FA Cup replays. So yeah, good luck to Brighton in that semi-final. I'll be backing them for the win. So we'll see how that goes. But look, thanks everyone that tuned in tonight. It was a live deadline stream. We're obviously 20 minutes or so past deadline. First game is Man United versus Everton. Q's going to be doing a stream for that one for a watch along with at D10 Football. I won't be there tonight. Been a bit under the weather, so I'm going to rest up after this. After we get off here. If you are new here, please subscribe to the channel. Like this video if you haven't done already. And if you happen to watch this video after deadline, then yeah, leave any comments in. Last couple of comments. Thanks for watching, Ozspike. Yeah, you're Arsenal. He said his team wasn't good for bench boost last week, so he plays free hit, got 114, so he's not sorry for game week 32. Looks like you've done it well there, mate. And then wing, Brighton 2, Man United 2 in 1983 and 4-0 to Man United in the replay. And yeah, thanks for joining the stream. But we'll leave it there. There will be a watch along, which Q will be doing. Any final words for the game week, Q, before we finish this one?
Enjoy. I think there's some really good games this weekend. Definitely excited for the Brighton fixture. I think it's going to be a good game. I think United and Everton is going to be a good game, especially for United supporters. I think it could be a good game to watch for us. I think Liverpool, Arsenal, good game. But yeah, no, I hope everyone enjoys it. Remember, it's just the game. It really is 50% luck. FPL. You can try predict it, but it's football. It's the most unpredictable sport in the world, and you just got to ride off the punches. And like me and Matt have rode 3 Haaland hat tricks, punched us right in the face, and yeah, that's just all fun.
Exactly, just have fun with it. And yeah, you never know, like you said, what's going to happen in these games. And VAR doesn't help as well. Adds another dynamic to it. But enjoy the games. Give Quentin a follow at FPL Amateurs of Oz. I'm at FPL Matt Day. So I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for tuning in, and bye for now.